Let's go. We're into another episode of the Patriots podcast. I'm Sean here with Ryan and JJ.
Hello.
What's up?
Yo, we are here talking about week 17, a week that we were pretty amped up about, all the playoff implications, everything that could possibly happen. And then we get something that we never expected, totally blindsided. Monday Night Football, I'm calling my brother. I'm like, yo, let's watch this Bills-Bengals game. And then in the first quarter, there's a hit. Damar Hamlin, safety from the Bills, tackles T. Higgins, wide receiver from the Bengals. He goes down. I go into the kitchen to go clean up some dishes. And then my wife just calls out. She's like, they're doing CPR in the field. And I'm like, what? Yeah. Are you kidding me? This is something we're just never prepared for. And in the days, we're recording this on Wednesday night, in the days afterwards, I keep going to my regular football sites. And I'm like, oh, let me get some football news. Like, what's going on? Who's injured? Who's going to play? Like, what are the playoff scenarios? And it's all just about this injury and about what happened in the Bills. And there's a selfish part of me, and hear me out. There's a selfish part of me that's like, oh, I just want to hear about football. Like, I want to escape from all this. But
sure,
I think the point of it is this is bigger. This is a bigger thing that's happening right now. And it's making people reevaluate everything that's going on with the NFL and the sport of football in general. I mean, Ryan, what were your first reactions to watching Damar Hamlin go down like that?
I mean, it's very, very scary incident. It's rare to see someone stay down that long. Sometimes, we're kind of used to seeing people get head injuries and stay down, and that's always really scary. But when you see someone stay down and then they're doing CPR on them, you can automatically tell that it's more serious than anything we've seen before. If you're doing CPR, you've effectively stopped breathing. You've died on the field. Freak thing. I don't think it was a dirty hit. It wasn't even a hard hit. It was just kind of the timing of it and the circumstance. From what I've heard from doctors that can cause that. I guess it's it's like getting struck by lightning twice. I don't know if he had any underlying conditions. I haven't heard that, but it's scary. And really the only thing you can do is just say a prayer for Damar Hamlin, and hopefully he comes out of this thing okay. And I mean, just being unconscious that long, or not even unconscious, not breathing for that long, you worry about brain damage if he even recovers, if there's no oxygen going to the brain. Scary thing, and it really puts things into perspective. Football's a game. It's not life and death. You have this guy laying on the field. I mean, his family, I guess, was there. It's just brutal, man. And I'm praying for him, and I hope he pulls through.
James.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely pretty shocking. I hadn't turned the game on yet, but I got a text from somebody who was like, they're doing CPR on the field. And I was like, what? I really know what that meant. So I switched over to the game and see that, and I was like, holy crap. I mean, I think they did a good job canceling the game, not making Buffalo go out there, or we've seen some pretty brutal hits on the field before. I remember specifically kickoff for plenty of years in a row was always scary, where someone was knocked unconscious. But this was somebody had a serious medical issue on the field, which the Vikings, I guess we haven't seen in, I don't know, 60 years or something. I mean, they saw, it's happened once or whatever, way back.
Reggie Brown had to have CPR on the field in 1988.
88. Oh, okay. Well,
they
there
did
you go.
a 30 for 30 about that. That's how I know about that.
Damn. Okay. So
the only thing I could think of that was similar was a couple years ago during the Euro Championships. Christian Eriksen from Denmark was just kind of walking back to midfield and just collapsed. Do you remember that? The
vaguely.
For Inter,
I remember that.
And
Yeah, I mean it's a freak thing, man. You know, it's definitely a freak thing. I think a lot of people are, like you said, Sean, reevaluating things, but you know, it is a freak thing. I don't know how you necessarily. I mean, maybe there's some kind of padding or something. I don't know how you prevent something like that in the future, and outside of better medical for the players before the games, and during the weeks off and stuff like that. I mean, people are talking different things. Football is a super violent sport. Injuries are going to happen, as they all say. And I think, something that's kind of getting buried along. Obviously, it's not the same type of thing, but Tua, here's a quarterback in the league. They've been trying to protect quarterbacks. This guy's had 3 concussions this year. 2 of them can be considered like major. So, I think the in between games and stuff, taking guys out, I don't know how you can prevent this one, but, just doing your due diligence during the weeks, making sure everyone seems fine. I don't know how that happens, but it is too bad. It's really too bad. You got to, hopes and prayers out to him and his family, getting everything getting really good. Hopefully he can be okay, and live a life.
None of us are doctors. It was just, I guess, just speaking from the football fan perspective, like all of us played in high school. There were ambulances on the field.
Yeah.
Even in high school. Like they
really had one there.
Like there are precautions in place, and then you just don't expect to see it go so
bad.
Severe so quickly.
Yeah.
It's just something that we're not accustomed to, and it's really just jarring.
There's people talking, about like the NFL's protocol and how violent the NFL can be, but at the same time, like you watch rugby or something like that, and they're wearing
rugby's
nothing.
Violent. Rugby's
they're basically wearing nothing, and it's like that. This just
there's
something
that's a whole argument.
Seen.
Like if you're wearing less, they don't rugby. They don't really have much padding, but you see gruesome bloody injuries. But I feel like way more frequently, like way more blood, way more frequently. But people say, oh well, you're not, you don't have a helmet and a plastic shoulder pad where you can launch yourself. You wouldn't necessarily be able to do that.
It's surface level versus internal.
Yep.
Right.
Is the argument there? Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
One of the other big talking points that people are bringing up is that the NFL official on board told ESPN that they were giving the team 5 minutes to play after a half hour or whatever it was, and the NFL's denying that they said that. And Joe Buck reported that there was 5 minutes left. You saw Joe Burrow throwing, so it looked like there was clearly some directive as to like, hey, we're going to try to get this thing going. But I guess the Bills players and understandably, totally right.
I think it was
like
the coach. It was what's his name? Bills coach.
McDermott.
McDermott. Yeah, I think he wanted to get the hell out of there. I think that.
He said he wanted to. He told Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor had his press conference today where he was saying that he went over to McDermott.
Yeah, he wanted to go to the hospital.
And McDermott said, "I just want to go to the hospital and be with DeMar."
Yeah.
And the whole team did really. You saw, but there looked like there was some directive to like, hey, we need to warm up. Because Joe Burrow started throwing, you saw Stephon Diggs trying to pump up his teammates, and the guys on that Bills team were just like, "No, we're not playing this game." I don't know, and it's an important game. I know that's really secondary to what we're, and I don't know what their plan is going forward, but they've basically said there will be no changes to the Week 18 schedule, and I don't know what they do with that game. If both teams take it.
Granny looks like he's about to spit something out. What do you got there, Granny?
Well, no, just we don't need to speculate about what they're going to do with the game. I was saying while they had the temporary suspension of the game, I was like, look, it's either a forfeit, it's a tie, or they're going to keep playing. And there's no way they can keep playing. There's just no way.
Yeah.
And then,
or they replay the game, right? Like.
I mean, I don't know how you do it at
the
point.
Game. You're not going to
right. It
just doesn't make sense.
The only thing I've heard that makes sense is they push things a week and use that Super Bowl bye week, but the NFL will never go for that. There's too much revenue involved.
Too much red.
Yeah, I mean, I think
first of all, we all believe that the NFL would lie about their initial intentions on this game.
of course, without
We
a doubt.
all believe that the NFL.
We
would
don't
be
know where
like,
that
"Oh,
report came from.
yeah, we didn't say that. Joe Buck just made that up, and so did ESPN, and so did everybody else." Yeah,
And it's coming
Troy
from the
Vincent.
mouth of it's coming from the mouth of Troy Vincent, who used to
Troy
be
Vincent.
the player rep, and now he works for the NFL. He's the biggest scab there is. You can't trust a word out of that guy's mouth.
Flip flop that easily.
That's a good
You're
one.
right.
He's a piece of dude. You can't trust Troy Vincent.
That's a good one. But I mean, you did. I just want to do a quick thing. You highlighted Sean McDermott in saying, "Hey, I just want to go to the hospital and be with this guy." I get that.
Yeah.
The other thing that needs to be highlighted is allegedly after the NFL said 5 minutes, we're going back on the field. Zach Taylor, a guy that I've criticized innumerable times on this podcast, walked across the field and talked to the head coach of the Bills.
Right.
Good for Zach Taylor stepping up in the right spot and saying, "Hey, I'm going to take this directly to the person that needs to talk to this." And
You're right.
those guys handled it.
Because he could have been like, "We're playing, we're ready to go. What's wrong?" He could have definitely been a hard-o dick about
He
it.
could have done that. And no,
And he
he
didn't.
walked right across the field and he goes, "Hey, let's you and me get on the same page."
And I think that's what happened. I think, and that you saw like people on the phone. There was a call to Goodell allegedly or whatever. I mean, I have a feeling they were like, "Yeah, we're not playing. Like, what's the worst that you're going to do?" And he, probably rattle it. Well, if it's a forfeit or this, that, and they're like, "We don't give a shit. We'll take the day." If they both agreed, because you're right, Granny. Like if one of them, if that was I don't know what coach that would do it. I don't want to throw anyone particular under the bus, but if there was some kind of coach that was like, no, we're ready to go. We're right here. I guess he could have been a dick. Like everyone would hate them, but it's very possible. So
That would have been a bad look for sure.
But he walked across the field. He took the impetus to get
You're
over
right.
there. Yeah.
Definitely.
The thing was, the one team I could see like kind of really being annoyed by the fact that they might not play this game is the Ravens, because they had a chance to still win that division, move up in the playoff seeding.
I mean, I don't know, dude. There's a lot of teams right now. There's a lot of players, I'm sure, that have financial stuff that they could have hit. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot more confusing. Everyone's trying to, we're going to wait and see what happens. It's like, ooh, someone is going to, some group of people, one way or the other, is going to get screwed from this. Some groups of teams, players, whatever, are going to, whatever they decide,
Right.
I feel like is someone loses.
The thing, and the other thing is, no one had more at stake than the Bengals and Ravens, because they both, or not the Bengals and Bills.
Bills. Yeah.
Because
this was
they were both
this was the game of the year. This was the game of the year.
Potentially the game of the year, and it was
depends on how it played out
to secure a week off, a bye week. Now it looks like I don't know where they go from here, but there's a possibility that the Bills could forfeit next week if they don't want to play, and then they get 2-3 weeks off. I don't know. This is very weird. Who cares about it really?
At this point,
yeah. Who cares really? I just want the kid to be okay.
That's yeah. And just one final word on that: the ESPN crew that was forced to be on camera right afterwards.
Yeah,
I mean, praise to you. That is the hardest job I can imagine.
Super awkward.
You have no training for that, absolutely. And then ESPN is like, "Here you go. You guys deal with this."
Schefter didn't say anything for the first 10 minutes. Schefter barely said anything.
What is there to say?
No, I know.
Schefter, all he does is break news, and he has no news.
Well, I think he didn't want to say anything too, because he's so in bed with so many people in the NFL. Like if he didn't want to be like, Booger was like, cancel it. They got to cancel the game. He wouldn't say a word. And I feel like because he has to put a spin on no matter what the NFL wants him to do. So he didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
He's like, I
agree with that, but at some point they are
kind of looked a little, but yeah, you're right.
At some point,
it was awkward. It was brutal.
There's like a half hour since I don't even know. They keep going to commercial. Susie Colbert's there, Booger McFarland, Adam Schefter. They keep cutting back to Joe Buck. And it's just at some point, you have to be a journalist and report what's,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
say something, get someone else on.
Yeah,
or like,
I mean, someone was saying that there's like 150 ex-players from ESPN. I mean, they could have brought some people in. I'm like, hey,
yeah,
just so-and-so over the phone. What do you think?
And then they talked to Ryan Clark, and Ryan Clark
was good.
He did good. He sounded great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's something that you don't plan for, and I don't know how to handle that.
Personally, going into it, I was excited for the game, and then I was completely, misdirected the same way that everybody was, where it's like you're thinking about something entirely different at this point.
Yeah, fuck the game,
and then,
right?
Yeah, fuck the game, and you start to think about like, oh, players on my team, and then teams that I played on, and then it's just
I was thinking about
it's
his
a rabbit
family.
hole.
I'm like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole. And praise to everybody. He had a toy drive that was, I think their goal was like $2,500, and they raised like $5 million.
Do you want to get into that? Because I don't have good feelings about that.
Okay, I do not want to get into that.
I don't want to get into that. Whatever that is, we don't need to get into that.
Don't spoil my feelings, because I feel like that's a nice thing.
It's a nice thing, but why do you put your name on it? Like,
don't spoil it.
That's all. All right.
Don't spoil it. All right. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Okay, I know this feels really trivial right now, and given that the Patriots are supposed to play the Bills next week, that's all up in the air. Let's just put that aside for right now, and let's talk about Week 17 games that actually happened, because that's why people tune in. So, the Patriots were playing the Dolphins Week 17 in a game that all of us, surprisingly, had the Patriots winning.
Yep.
And lo and behold, they take the lead. They're able to hang on, and they're able to stifle this Miami Dolphins offense, even with, Teddy Bridgewater only played 3.5 quarters. But we were able to move the ball enough to get this victory. What do you think, JJ? What do you think was the key to this win?
Well, they needed to win this one, as we know. We needed to get to 8-8, have have a win over Miami, because now they're 8-8 as well. They were on an absolute slide, as we had talked about. You're playing, like you said, Teddy Bridgewater. They're already their backup quarterback, who hasn't looked that great. I mean, we kind of hung around, or we took the lead quick, then they scored, and we had to kind of come back. So it's nice to see them come back a little bit. I think Mac Jones is playing better. I think this last several weeks of the year, he has definitely calmed down. He's not throwing as many bad throws, possibly intercepted, passes and stuff. He looks like he's developing a rapport with some guys. Our defense still tends to be the story, and I'm going to run with that storyline and say that I think this defense would be really, could be a really special unit if their offense could actually win some games. I think they have 7 touchdowns now. I mean, it's Kyle Duggar has almost as many touchdowns on defense as anyone does on our offense. It's like unbelievable. So I think our defense is really good. You're seeing the pass rush really come alive. Barmore was a force in this game. Uche not as much, but we know what he can do at this point. Judon, Wise had a sack. So defensive line just continues to dominate. And when we know they're going to pass, it's like arguably one of the best pass rushes in the league, I think. The way we can collapse the pocket. So I think that, what we said, that and, a little bit of the running game. We saw Damian Harris back. But, once again, a lot of bad offensive calls, a lot of bad play calls. It's comical. Some of them are comical. I'll let you guys take it from there.
Yeah, I thought the defense won the game for us, really. Mac Jones was better in this game. They had a lot more downfield shots than what we're used to in the past, and that gave Miami something different to think about. I thought that really opened up things underneath. And a lot of his throws deep were overthrows, and that's better than underthrows for a deep ball.
That's fine.
But you mentioned Christian Barmore, 6 pressures. He had a 90.8 or something like that in PFF this week. Fantastic. Just in his pass rush. If you wanted to move him to like a 3-4 end, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Duggar, huge pick 6. I mean, we're just getting them. And if you want to call him fake or whatever because of who the quarterback is that's in there, whatever, I'll take the win. I don't care what you want to call it. But pretty good, man. I thought even if they're down a quarterback or two, to beat a team like that that's really trying and working to get in the playoffs, you move to 8-8 against a divisional opponent and get off the schneid against Miami, for fuck's sake. It's
yeah, literally. How many wins is that?
It sucks losing to these teams. Miami and Buffalo, we have like a 6 or 7 game, maybe not losing streak to Buffalo because we beat them one time, right? In that game where we threw like twice.
No, definitely Miami. I think it's 6 games.
No,
yeah,
they beat them.
When we beat them?
You're right. No. You're right.
It's been a while since we beat them. I think the last time we beat them was Cam Newton's first game, like week 1 of like 2019 or something like that.
Yeah, that was
so. It's a big game, and I thought there was a handful of guys that played really well. I thought Damian Harris was great to come back, and Ramondre looked like he had some tired legs. Besides that one run where he was just like breaking every single tackle on the field. The defense stepped up when it needed to. It keeps stepping up when it needs to. It's opportunistic. The turnover battle, we're winning. We're not throwing. Mac Jones had 0 turnover-worthy plays this week, which is great, and he still moved the ball fairly well. It's an improvement. It's a step in the right direction, and I don't know. We'll see where we can take it from here, but we have a chance at the playoffs.
We have a chance at the playoffs. Yeah.
We're currently in them.
I was kind of distraught in the first half. I was like, God, this again. And then,
well, it's our offense, man.
But
it's unbelievable.
Marcus Jones gave us life. He gave us life in a big way. And then Duggar and, I shouldn't say Marcus Jones. That was the week.
Yeah,
before.
not Mark. He was out.
I will say,
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt here, but to start the game, to get a touchdown on our first possession, felt pretty good. I don't know how long it's been since we've had that.
That did feel good, and that was a good orchestrated, group of plays. Sean, what were you saying to finish your thought?
Well, just that we got that touchdown. We gave up a touchdown right after that, and then
right.
They end up missing a field goal in the first half, and that's the difference in the game. I know Nick Folk doesn't do his job entirely with the extra points, but another time where as soon as they put in the backup quarterback, it's like, oh, we're all good.
Right.
And it's like, how are we ever going to beat a good team when you have to wait for the backup quarterback to be in there?
And that's the thing. I mean, you see it on offense every freaking week. It's like the plays are so after the first, we had that good first drive, like Ryan said, that was nice. That was exciting. All right. Hey, maybe we got something here. Like we can't do back-to-back drives. It doesn't exist outside of our defense scoring and then maybe the offense scoring. The offense can't score twice in a row. And they're so predictable. It's like, I was saying it's comical before. It's 3rd and 2 and we throw a bomb down the field. We're at our own 30. It's like we just started the damn drive. You have 2 running backs. Like, what were you gonna say?
Well, that's because Mac Jones was under pressure. He was like, I'm freaking out. This is my hot route, and I'm throwing
That's
it.
Fine, but like,
I don't hate that.
The bomb on. I mean, I don't mind it, but when we can't ever get anything going, and our only thing we can do is run the ball, it's like we choose not to run it on 3rd and short a lot, which I don't know. Maybe I'd second guess if we did that and it wasn't work. I mean, it just doesn't work. It's like we have so many 3 and outs. We get there, the 3 plays that are called, something goes wrong. Guys are missing blocks. It's just sloppy offensive football. It's never like, okay, it's a unit. Everything's working together, ready to go. I mean, we saw little flashes of it. Tyquan Thornton, I thought, had a great game. I'd like to see what he did. I liked what I saw from him. He had brought in the long ball this time. There was a catch where he might have stepped out of bounds, but they couldn't overturn it, which was great. That was really nice. They're definitely trying to get him the ball because he had 7 targets. Hunter Henry played pretty good. Myers played pretty good. Gorn didn't do anything, was barely in there. Aguilar, continues to be very, very scarce for catches and big plays.
Yeah, I believe Gorn had an alignment penalty, right? A false start.
He did.
He can't catch a break.
What are you doing?
They immediately subbed him off.
Yeah.
I was like,
He got
Jesus,
booted
man.
after that. The one thing I would say about the offensive play calling was we had a 3rd and 5 in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And they put Jacoby Myers in the backfield, and they ran an HB fly with him as like a wheel. And they got him on a linebacker downfield, and that was massive. Ended up being a touchdown, ended up making it a 9-point game. That was huge. Making it a 2-score game in the 4th quarter. That's the one thing that I could say is good from offensive play calling. Everything else is probably
bad. But and that's the thing. Where are more of those calls where it's like, oh, that was a good drawn up play. Oh, nice job. Like, it doesn't happen. 3rd down, it's like, okay, we're either running up the A gap or throwing it down the sidelines deep. It's like there's no get over the sticks play. Like the Julian, that Julian Edelman, Jacoby Myers can do it, but he can't be him every single time in and out. It's like we have no, 3rd and 6 situation or beyond. It's like 3rd and 2 versus 3rd and 17 on our team. Normally, that would be like a wildly different percentage of getting it done. On the Patriots, it's like, I'll give your chance. 3rd and 17 are the same chances to me at 3rd and 2 for our team. That's what kind of offense this is, which makes no sense.
I thought there was one drive in the early second half that kind of summarized our season. We're moving the ball a little bit. It's 3rd and 6, and we get a completion to Hunter Henry, deep right for 29 yards. It's 1st and 10 at the Miami 42. Mac Jones takes a sack from Christian Wilkins. It's 2nd and 19. Ramondre Stevenson runs over the right tackle for 18 yards. It's 3rd and 1. Guess what happens? Mac Jones takes a sack to a Landon Roberts for -12. Right. We punt the ball. It's like,
what was the play call there? He just got destroyed. There
was no play call there.
In the 3rd and 1, he didn't even have. It wasn't like, oh, he fucked up. It's like there were 2 guys in his face within a second. Like
it was awful.
He dropped back, and there were 2 people there, and he was like, oh shit. And it's like
over the A gap.
Fucking call.
Right.
You thought was a smart play here. Like, how does that even happen on 3rd down? You throw a pass, you don't get it, you get stopped. But like, they're in your face within a second on 3rd down and short.
The way pass protection works is from the inside out, right?
Right.
So you don't see the guy that you called out the mic. No one's picking him up. He's running right through Mac Jones. I don't even know what the play was. I have no idea because it was blown up immediately. So and then someone texts me right after. He goes, Bridgewater. He's a Steelers fan. Bridgewater greater than Mac Jones, and Steelers fan. I go, you probably just like guys with 2 gloves.
Did you guys see Ramondre? He took off his gloves and then he put them back on afterwards. No. Oh yeah,
I didn't notice that. No,
he couldn't figure it out. He's like, I don't know which one feels better. Do the Patriots win this game if Tua plays? James,
a healthy Tua.
Healthy Tua.
Probably. They probably. I'd say they don't win.
I don't think they win.
No.
I don't think Tyreek Hill goes for whatever he did. 30 yards, 62, 55 yards. Tyreek Hill.
We outscored them by 3 points. It's not like we beat them.
I was shocked.
I mean, it seemed like we constantly had 2 points. Right. We should have lost. Realistically,
yeah.
That extra point almost killed us. Well, and then we went for it, didn't we? We went for it on 4th down too in the in the red zone, right? Instead of kicking a field goal late at the end. Do you remember that? It's late in the game. Yeah. We had a great drive down the field. We're up by 2, and we tried to score, and we didn't get it.
29. Yeah.
Miami 29. Thank you. And we went for it, and it was 4th and 7, and I think Mac took a sack.
4th and 4.
Thank you. And he took a big sack.
Another shit
for 10
yards, yeah.
Terrible, right up, didn't even have a fucking chance. And it's like, why not go for the field goal there and go up by 5 so they can't win on a goddamn field goal? Because it almost came down to that. So, all these decisions, luckily they went, it seems like the Oakland game, just like shit goes wrong. And it's like terrible.
Yeah. I thought it was big on the pick 6. Teddy Bridgewater stiff arm or Teddy Bridgewater got stiff armed by Kyle Duggar. That run back was fantastic.
Fantastic, right?
So good in
the
open field.
He's so patient.
He was a punt returner.
He was a punt returner. Very patient, almost deliberate in what he's doing, and he's strong. He's fast.
He's a freak athlete.
We keep getting these pick sixes and scores on our defense. It's if you want to call it a fluke, go ahead. I'll take it. But
7 touchdowns.
Some of these guys have a real knack for bringing the ball back, and Kyle Duggar and Marcus Jones are 2 of the better guys you want with the ball in their hands.
Man. That's scary.
We have a handful of real good building blocks going forward on our defense.
Definitely.
I'm encouraged by this win. I'm encouraged by. I thought the offense was a lot better. I think with Damian Harris or someone like Damian Harris going forward, and Ramondre, I think that you can build around that. And there's been some signs that Mac Jones is not it, but we've seen him be manageable. And
I'd keep it going.
As a game manager, I think you owe it to him to get him a real offensive coordinator in here next year and see what you have with him, because you have a potential 4th year, right, with him? Or 5th year.
Yeah.
No, he's got next year, the year after, and a potential 5th year option for a first-round player. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you really need to see what you have there.
I mean, I feel like both quarterbacks in our division, Tua and Josh Allen, are perfect examples of why, I think Josh Allen maybe started coming on in the end of year 2, but he was terrible the first 2 years. Like for most of the season, the second year, I mean, he had all the physical traits that Mac doesn't have. He got that. But still, like he looked like he didn't have the mind for it. He was throwing the ball, sailing 20 yards over guys' heads. I remember thinking he was terrible. Like, wow, the Bills did it again.
I never thought that.
And I thought he was pretty bad.
But Tua, he was bad.
And then Tua too. I mean, Tua, we were talking about at the beginning of the season. We had a conversation. Can Tua do it? He's got all the talent around him. He's got an offensive coordinator. Is he a shithead? He played. I mean, he was one of the top, outside of the concussion thing, he was one of the top quarterbacks in the league statistically. And I feel like that shows. He brought in a coach that understands offense, and he'll play pretty good. I'd take Tua's year this year for Mac next year, minus the concussions.
Yeah, I tend to look at players from more of a a place of traits.
I feel like it's
physical talent. I tend to look at that more.
Yeah, I don't look at that as much.
And I look at Josh Allen and that arm and the way he can run, and I'm just like, there's a lot to build around here. And I've always thought that
we've seen that. We've seen that go the other way too, though.
Yeah, but you've seen if you're gonna say like bonehead plays for a kid that's 22, 23, like it's gonna happen.
Well, no, he couldn't. Remember, first year he couldn't throw the ball. He sailed it. Couldn't complete.
He sailed it, but I mean, it's better to sail it than to not have the arm to make it there, in my opinion.
I don't know. I mean, I'd keep going.
I think
Mac.
Tua is a good comparison, though, to Mac Jones, because he's got physical limitations, and
it's not just Alabama.
And he can be coached up, and that's what you're looking for, is someone that can be coached up. But the problem is you don't have the coaches to coach Mac Jones up right now.
Anyone up? No,
right?
No.
Okay, our common refrain right there. Okay, the Patriots currently stand at 8-8 in control of their destiny. Whatever that plays out to be with the Bills, we'll put that to the side for right now. But they are in front of the Miami Dolphins. They're in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers, both at 8-8. The Jets and the Titans are still sitting there. The Jets are out. But the Titans are still sitting there at 7-8, and there is a possibility that the Titans could pass them. I guess I should say there's a possibility that the Titans would go to the 4 seed and win the AFC South with Jacksonville. Jacksonville could then move up into the 8 seed, potentially, if there's a couple other things that happen. Does this Patriots team feel like a playoff team to you, Ryan?
No.
No, of course not. But I mean, there's so many bad
Definitely
teams
not.
in the NFL right now.
That's what it is.
There's a handful. That's the thing. I think
That's
the
what
playoff,
it is. 100%.
I don't like the playoff alignment right now, where they have it like so many teams make the play. Was it 7 teams right now that make the playoffs?
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Each conference.
7 out of 15. It's like you can be pretty average and make the playoffs. You look at the NFC, it's the same way. I mean, the Bucks are about to make the playoffs, and it goes by your division as well.
Absolutely.
Like if your entire division sucks and you're the best of suck, then you suck a little bit less than the other team. Then yeah, the Patriots
We're not a playoff.
The Patriots aren't a playoff team in a normal years past, but I mean, they're coached sufficiently enough, especially on defense, to make enough plays to keep them in ball games, and a handful of them they win. And if you get some plays from your offense with this team in particular, that's a bonus. And if we beat the Bills, this is what I love about the NFL is it's week 18, and your team is not that good, but you still have – there's a lot of parity. Your team still has a chance to make the playoffs. It's in your hands. It's kind of fun. It keeps it fun. But I think that in a normal year, no, we're not a playoff team.
No, I don't think we're a playoff team either. I mean, I think it just shows how bad the league is now, and how many teams are just, there's always so many teams that are out of it and stuff. But I think, there was a couple teams in there that Miami lost their last 5 games or something. Like, we shouldn't have been able to catch them as much as I want. I'm happy we did and have overtaken them. Like, we shouldn't have done that. You have a couple teams that are really mediocre, a couple 8-8 division winners this year, you have 2 of them. That's usually pretty rare that happens. And then, like you're saying, Ryan, the 7th seed now, this added playoff game. You have in each division, each conference, 3 8-8 teams fighting for that spot. Years ago, none of them had a chance. That was it. You can't get to 10 wins. You're done. And it was, rarely 9 wins would get in. It happens, but most teams were 10 wins or more, you got in. Now there's an extra game, and teams that are winning 8 games are getting in, or 9 games. We'll see how it spins out here with all the craziness. But no. But hey, once you get in the playoffs, I mean, who knows? Whether you go somewhere, you play a good game, I'd give us a freaking chance if we get in. You never know what the hell can happen. Our defense is opportunistic. They get a touchdown almost every freaking week.
It makes me think back to that. Was it 06? The Matt Castle year? Where we were...
That was
07. We were 9-7.
08.
08.
Okay. That 06, I think we won.
9-7.
No, we didn't.
06,
03
we
and
went
04
to
we won.
the AFC Championship game. We beat San Diego, who was like 14-2 that year.
Right.
They should have kicked the shit out of us, and we beat them because Mike Vrabel made like an insane play at turnover.
It was Troy Brown.
That
Brown
team was
defense.
loaded. I always think back to that when I see this
14-2.
new playoff picture. Right. I always think back to that year when I see this new playoff picture. I'm like, oh, it could have been
9
because
7 didn't get you in.
Yeah, that team was really good, man. Except for Matt Castle, who did a fairly good job of kind of guiding us in the right direction. But that team
Brady was there.
had
they would have won.
Great players around him, man, and the defense was good.
They're stacked.
11-5 didn't make the playoffs.
Was it 11-5? Holy fuck, man! You don't make the playoffs 11-5 now. I mean, there's got to be a lot of teams that haven't won a game, right? Like
everyone could lose this week, and everyone an 8-9 team makes it 2 8-9 teams. Very possible.
NFC, same situation. 8-8 teams. Currently, the Seahawks are in place to make the playoffs.
Having said that,
go ahead.
Wasn't there like a 6-10 team back then? Was it the Seahawks that made the playoffs?
7-9.
Not that bad.
7-9.
Yeah, 7-9. I think I remember.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking back after this podcast.
You better. Okay, a couple of the games this weekend that were interesting. We mentioned. I don't think we did. Denver goes into Kansas City plays into a 3-point game, which
Yeah.
was pretty tight in the fourth quarter there. Mahomes had to do his magic again. They end up winning 27-24. Also, out in the West, Chargers beat the crap out of the Rams, 31-10.
Crushed them. Yeah.
I mean, is there a difference between those two teams right now? I'm starting to wonder.
The Rams and the Chargers?
Yeah. No, the Chargers
No,
and
Rams and the Denver.
Chargers and the Chiefs.
Chargers and Chiefs. Oh.
Like, how big is the gap right there? I don't think it's a very big gap between those two teams right now. When the
It's not
Chargers are
huge.
healthy with the receivers.
It's not huge, but the biggest difference between those two teams is the Chiefs can stop the run. The Chiefs are 9th in the NFL against the run. They're legitimately strong up front. Clark and all those guys. It was Jones, the middle linebacker there, Nick Bolton. They got from Mizzou. They got some beef up front, and you can't just run the ball on them. Chargers, on the other hand, I mean, their whole defensive line has been replaced throughout the course of the season. They have no stud middle linebacker. Kenneth Murray's a really good player, but I feel like he's more of an outside player. That's the biggest difference to me. And I don't. You guys can say what you want about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have much to say about the Chargers.
The head coaches.
I
That's
think
my
he's
difference.
a dumbass, and I don't think they're there yet.
Head
I like him,
coaches.
man. He's fucking aggressive, dude. This is a new
He's an
day.
idiot.
It's a new day and age in the NFL, and that's the most aggressive coach I've ever seen.
Nope, it's been happening forever, and those coaches always get fired. Rex Ryan comes to mind. He was very aggressive. Look what happened to him. Nothing. Who else?
Doug Peterson.
Doug
in Philly.
Peterson. He's all right. I mean, he kind of found it. What is he in Jacksonville now?
Yeah.
He's doing well.
Well,
Yeah, he's not doing bad.
Jacksonville's doing well.
Jacksonville's
They
in
kicked the
first
shit out of
place.
Houston.
Yeah.
Kicked the shit out of Houston, didn't they?
A Houston
Holy.
team that has been giving everybody fits for a month.
Yeah.
Kansas City,
Yeah,
Dallas, Tennessee. They've been giving everybody a tough run for their money.
Yeah, and you know what I like about him? Travis Etienne playing really well. 62-yard run in the second quarter there.
Yeah.
He's
Well in that
explosive.
game.
And I like that Trevor Lawrence has a go-to guy. Christian Kirk has turned into a real player. I was surprised Arizona let him go. I think he's a stud.
Yeah.
Arizona kid. Or not Arizona, Alabama kid, right? Christian Kirk?
I can't remember. Maybe it sounds about right.
Pretty sure he went to Alabama.
I don't
You
think
know
so.
what I was surprised about was Packers beating the crap out of the Vikings. Vikings, really?
Texas A&M.
Really?
Texas A&M. That's mine.
Oh, there you go.
Can we give some
Most-
credit to Jalen Petrie, though, with the was it Jalen Petrie
Oh,
with the gloves are stuck to the ball celebration, and he took off the gloves while they were attached to the ball. That was second
see
best
that.
celebration of the year, behind the Salvation Army thing from Devontae Smith. You guys didn't see
I
that?
guess I don't watch any of them. I don't know. No, I didn't see any of them.
Sean, I can't hear you. You talking?
Yeah. Afterwards, did you see that the glove was still on the ball?
Yeah. What the?
No.
He's got some stickum. He's got some legit stickum.
He's
Like
a
I
player.
used to spray on my gloves when I was playing in the backyard.
He is a player. He had 13 tackles in that game and a pick. Remember we talked about him from Baylor? He played that bear position, which is like
Love that.
tweener. Just kind of find your way. Like you're the stud. You're the honey badger of this defense. Just kind of find your way. And he's just a player, man. I really like that kid.
Speaking of honey badgers, Pittsburgh, just watching Minka Fitzpatrick, like that dude is a game wrecker. He just
Fantastic.
gets all over the field, all three phases just all three levels of the defense, I should say.
It's so hard to be that player now with all the rules and everything, and he's just a ball hawking.
Yeah,
he's the best
a
free
beast.
safety in the league for me, and it's not really that close.
Yeah, I'd probably go with you there.
Yeah, so good. And that
Game was interesting. Kenny Pickett made some good throws in that game. I think it was
he did,
was it,
right?
He did, and people are really pumping Kenny Pickett's tires. When you look at how they started, I think it was 2-6, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now they're 8-8.
8-8.
8-8.
They're right in the thick of it. I
Thick
think
of it, dude.
if I'm a betting
that's
man, I'm taking the Steelers to make the playoffs.
I don't think so. We have the tiebreaker over them.
I don't know what
Well,
the odds
They're
are.
not going to win. Look, the Patriots are not going to beat the Bills.
Well, we'll talk
They're
about
just
that
not going to
soon.
beat them.
Not if they're playing.
They're going to play.
I don't know.
I think they're going
I
to
don't know
play.
if they are.
I think they're going
I
to
don't know
play,
how
dude.
I don't know how competitively they're going to play, depending on when the game is played. They might push it. If Kansas City loses or wins, I don't know.
They're going to
I
play.
feel
Kansas
like
City
they would
wins,
go
I
the
think they
opposite
play.
direction.
If not, they don't give a shit.
Buffalo is going to be jacked up to play the Patriots next week. That's the way I feel about it. I just think like
Yeah.
they want to play for their brother, and that's the way I would be, right? If your brother went down, I'd want to play.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
I don't know. We'll see how they feel about it. It's going to be interesting.
Biggest upset of the weekend, New Orleans goes into Philadelphia and beats them by 10.
Beats them.
Yeah, I did
Beats
not
them
see
by
that
10.
one coming.
But Jalen wasn't playing. Hurts wasn't playing, right?
He wasn't playing, but Minshew's good.
Minshew's not bad,
He's good
He had
enough.
a pick six, though. I mean, it was a low-scoring game, and he threw a pick six. So
Yeah,
when that happens,
So did
it's
Dak
tough to
against
come back.
the Eagles the week before. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't know if the Eagles are impenetrable anymore.
They're not.
Yeah.
I think if you get Jalen Hurts back, though, it's a big. It's a big deal. I think they're just really resting him at this point, right? Trying to get him back to full strength before the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if Minshew played again this week, and they brought him back. They'll still have a bye, right? With the way that NFC is shaping up, I think they still have a bye.
If they
Minnesota's
win next
got
week,
12
they will.
wins. Yeah, Minnesota's got 12 wins, so Minnesota has to lose again.
But Minnesota loses the tiebreaker with them. It's about San Fran.
Oh my
How
God,
about
that's right. San Fran's
Detroit?
12-4.
Detroit kicking the shit out of Chicago. I was looking at this game early on, and Fields had like 100 yards in like the first quarter rushing, or second quarter rushing.
Yeah, it looked competitive. It definitely looked competitive, and then it just took off.
Look at Justin Fields' stat line at the end of the game, though. Holy shit, man. What happened the rest of that game? He went downhill fast. His passing numbers were atrocious. I'm trying to find this. It's not coming up for me. There we go. Justin Fields passing 7 for 21 for 75 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But the rushing numbers are incredible. 10 for 132. Get this guy a receiver. You know,
right? Brought in
get this
N'Keal
guy
Harry.
someone who can break free. Holy shit.
What a joke.
Jared Goff had a good game. Lions, man. Lions, I know they lost last week. They came back and kicked the shit out of the Bears this week, but the Lions are kind of a sneaky team, man. And I really hope they make the playoffs here. They're not locked up yet, are they?
No, it's between them, the Packers.
If they beat the Packers and Seattle loses, then Detroit's in.
You're right.
Yeah.
Seattle's
That's
right
the
there.
whole menage a trois of playoff chances there, right? We're like 3 different teams. Yeah, no, I looked at that. I was like, it's between those 3 teams. And they're all kind of playing each other, right?
The best game of the weekend? The Raiders and the Niners.
And Niners,
I was flipping back and forth between. I saw some of it.
I was looking at that game ahead of time, and I was like, I've seen Jarrett Stidham play. I've seen it. And it's bad.
He looks the part. He looked the part in this one.
So good. He looked really good. He's ripping it down the field. He's taking hits. He's doing all the things that you want.
Rolling left, being super patient, and Devonta Adams bursts up the field after a broken play. He hits him for a long touchdown. I was like, where the fuck was that?
Yeah, I know. Right? Another coaching baffling situation with the Patriots where we have him for 3 years. He saw the field once, threw a pick, never saw the field again.
I mean, I think we kind of thought that Stidham had something. We didn't think that he had nothing, right? I mean,
yeah, but we never played him. it's like we proved that he had nothing because
Well,
they
we were
never
so
played him.
committed
And
to
then
Cam Newton
that's so
for
stupid.
some
Cam
reason.
Newton's
You know,
terrible.
Cam is a team player. He's fucking
then
this
Mac
and that.
beat him
He's
right
a good
out.
guy
He-
in the
he
locker
didn't
room. Like,
He
who
didn't
gives
even
a
have a
shit?
chance against Mac Jones. He got cut
That's
that
true.
year.
well, he's
Yeah.
a
He
first
didn't
round
even.
pick. You got to play your first round pick. I was more
Still,
annoyed
they
with
cut
the right, but I was more annoyed with the Cam Newton situation, where it's like this guy can't
For
throw
sure,
the
of
ball
course.
at all.
I think
Like,
it shows that what happens when you have a dominant receiver like that. Devontae Adams, 7 receptions, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. And it was basically not half, but almost half of all of his receiving yards there was
But that-
Devontae
that-
Adams. You
but
know?
that second touchdown, that long touchdown, was a lot of what Stidham did to free him up.
Right.
Like, he rolled left, he had pressure, no one was open. He was basically on the sideline and waving Devontae Adams to go to break up the end zone. The free
Go
safety
downtown.
lost him,
Yeah.
and I thought that was fantastic. That was brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant play by Jared Stidham. So he's got something, you know.
He's got something. Probably not
Yeah,
enough.
it's ridiculous.
But there's something there. Somebody that didn't have something on Sunday, Mike White, the Jets. The Jets were waiting for their savior to come back. And Mike White came back, went to Seattle, and
Didn't do shit.
there wasn't
Couple
much there.
interceptions. Yeah, not good.
Seattle got up 10-0 early, and then that was that.
That was kind of it, right?
That was it.
Yeah, they kind of just fell apart there. It's nice to see out of the Jets.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about that. I'm not gonna lie. I picked the Seahawks in that game, but I didn't know it was going to go that poorly for the Jets. And I'll take some solace in that, knowing that the Jets are the worst team in the AFC East.
Yep, that's nice.
How about that? Okay, let's talk about Week 18 right here. So we got 2 Saturday games, and then the rest are on Sunday. Oh, we didn't even talk about Tampa Bay playing Carolina.
Eked it out against Carolina.
Winning the
Eked it
division,
out.
putting Carolina to bed. Nope.
My God, I was watching that game, and then they go for the punt at the middle of the field, like a minute 30 to go, something like that. Tampa Bay does, and they're up 1 score, and the bad snap. The guy fields it, ends up going to his left, and then kicks it with his right foot. I don't know if he's a righty or a lefty, not sure, but doesn't matter. The guy was on the sideline and kicks it and punts it to the 1 yard line. Incredible.
Ugh,
Ends up being a flag. They bring it back. They redo it, the whole thing. But it gives them another chance at the good snap. Incredible play by the Tampa Bay punter. But I think the story of the game was obviously Tom Brady going deep to Mike Evans, 3 touchdowns, 200 yards right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mike
Finally.
Evans had his best game in a long time.
long
fantastic.
time.
It's nice to see. It's nice to see, you know, and I said it before, man. You let that team sneak into the playoffs. It is not a team you want to play in the playoffs. You don't want to play Tom Brady in the playoffs. I don't care if you're Eagles, whoever. You know, you just
So like,
they can stop the run a little bit too, right?
How about the Rams last year playing Tampa Bay? And it came down. It was this close. It was
Yeah, they
just
barely got
that
it.
close, 1 inch,
Yep.
and they were able to pull it out. And right now, it looks like Tampa Bay is going to be hosting Dallas. Dallas looks pretty good, but God, you got to go into Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you got
Play that dude.
mind your P's and Q's against Brady.
Not
man.
easy.
You never know.
You
You
never,
never know.
know.
And they got the Falcons this week. They could potentially beat them too. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them. They beat them before earlier in the season. I think it was 21-14 or something like that. It was a one score game. 21-15. 21.
Tampa's got it
21-15,
locked
yeah.
up. They don't really mind. Okay, so Week 18, Kansas City going to Las Vegas. Vegas has nothing to play for. Kansas City
There's everything to play
potentially
for.
as the first overall seed to play for. So you got to think they're going to take care of business. But then Saturday night, Tennessee going into Jacksonville. Winner takes the AFC South. What do
Really?
you got? Oh, yeah.
Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville.
Man,
They've been hot, and Tennessee hasn't. I feel like that's kind of the way it's been going.
Yeah, it's definitely trending towards the Jaguars. I have not been impressed the last few weeks.
Jags are -6. It's pretty good.
They're -6?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at the Jags, and the Titans just – I have no faith in the Titans. I'm going to go Jacksonville.
Titans are starting Joshua Dobbs at quarterback. The guy that's been there for
third straight
2 weeks, something like that.
Is Malik Willis hurt, or he's just not being played?
He's not hurt, as far as I know. Have you watched him play this year? Because
he's all not good.
There's no passing game. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then let's look at some of these other games. Baltimore, Cincinnati.
It's huge.
Huge game. Huge game. It's going to depend on the way they determine the Cincinnati-Buffalo game. But we haven't seen Lamar Jackson in a long time. And to be honest, I don't think we're going to see him. I think he's out.
Playing. Yeah, he's out. They said he's not playing.
Yeah. Baltimore has locked up the playoff spot, right? So they're good. They don't need to play anyone. The thing I would like to see from Cincinnati, though, is to win this game and put it to bed and say this division's ours, and then we can kind of move on from at least the divisional perspective of, like, whatever happened with this Buffalo game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If we take a loss there, if we forfeit, or if we take a draw, or whatever you want to call it, put that to bed, and I'd feel much better about it as far as like a controversy perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. I gotcha. Some of the other games, the Jets going to Miami, divisional game. Who knows who Miami's quarterback is going to be? It sounds like it's not going to be Tua.
It's not Tua. Tua's not Tua. For the year.
There's no way it's Tua.
You got to think the Jets want to win this game.
Win it. Yeah, they got to win it.
They just want to, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, their draft status, it's like, what are you going to get? Two picks later? You know, at this point, 7-9 versus 8-8. I think they're going to go for it. I would think they win. I mean, Miami's quarterback situation, Teddy Bridgewater came out because he's hurt. I mean, that other guy, Skyler or whatever the hell his name was, not good. I don't think that's...
He's not good, but he can move a little bit.
Jets got to win that game. They got to win
I disagree a little bit. I think the Dolphins are the team that needs to win the game, right?
They need to, but they're out of steam. They got nothing left, I feel like, in the tank.
Yeah.
They're on a 5-game dive.
They're so streaky.
2 quarterbacks in, you know.
5-game losing streak for the Dolphins.
Every win or loss they've had this year has been on like a major streak. I got to look at it, but I know. I think they started off 3-0, and then they went like 0-5, and then they went like 4-0, and then they went like 0-5. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just
it was 3-3-5-5 is how they've done it so far.
And they're on
win 3, lose 3, win 5, lose 5.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
I mean, now's the time.
Now's the time. Yeah, and they need it to keep their playoff hopes alive.
The Jets are eliminated. The Dolphins still have a chance. You know, and that.
Yeah, but Jets would love to ruin their season. They're like,
I'm sure the Dolphins are looking at the Bills and saying the Bills are going to be the Patriots, and Titans Jaguars is a toss up. And if the Dolphins win that game, I think they're in, right? Unless there's some kind of tiebreaker with the Steelers.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the Dolphins.
I'm pretty sure if the Dolphins win, the Patriots lose. Dolphins are in.
Dolphins are in, yeah. Yep.
The other game with playoff implications, Detroit Lions going to Green Bay.
Green
Bay is on an absolute tear for, I think, 5 games.
Yeah.
They were either 4-8 or 3-8. And then they started this winning streak. they absolutely dismantled the Vikings last week. Detroit is going outdoors. Who knows what the weather's going to be in Green Bay? Jared Goff is statistically horrendous in cold weather. I mean, it's legit. Like
30 degrees. It's
below 40
30
degrees. It's really bad for him.
Yeah, he's not good outside the domes. Green Bay, I think, I think they're going to be a little difficult if they're kind of like a Tampa Bay type of team where it's like you don't want to go play Rodgers. I don't want to deal with him now that he's coming on and he's actually found some receiving targets and stuff like that. Their offense was the problem the first before this winning streak, and since this winning streak, they've gotten Rodgers gotten comfortable throwing to a few guys, and I think that's dangerous if they get in.
Yeah,
could be.
And if the Seahawks lose to the Rams, I think the winner of the Lions-Packers games probably makes the playoffs, right?
Yes,
I mean,
that's true. That's true.
It's 9-8. It's 2-9. It's 2 8-8. It's actually 3 8-8 teams between the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Packers.
But if the Packers win, they go in regardless.
Yeah,
regardless, because they have the tiebreaker over the Seahawks, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So the Lions need the Seahawks to lose and to beat the Packers. And you know what? I'm picking the Lions. Let's go,
He's
Lions.
picking the Lions.
I'm picking the Lions.
He's doing it.
Oh,
good for you.
God.
Did you guys see Aiden Hutchinson with that interception? When he is stalking, he's like at the sideline, like, "Oh, I'm not here. I'm on the sideline."
There were so many.
Oh,
how
really?
many picks did Cousins throw? 4 picks, 3 picks,
and then he runs in and he gets an interception, and it's like, "Oh, I can't believe they fell for that."
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, man. Every time I watch the Lions, they fucking suck. So I don't watch them because I want them to do good.
Oh, right.
It's one of those. What do they call that? Superstition things. Like, I want the Lions to win. I hate the fucking Packers. I
mean, I do too, but I don't know. I feel like they're hot. It's all about who's hot. Lions have kind of been hot. I feel like Packers are hotter.
Yeah,
Packers have been pretty good lately.
They've got the momentum.
They got the momentum in the cold.
So, What do we think about this Buffalo game? I mean, is it going to be played? Obviously, we don't have a chance if it's played under normal circumstances, and Buffalo plays Josh Allen. I guess that's really what it comes down to.
So my guess is it will be played, Patriots versus Bills. My guess is they will call a draw between the Bills and the Bengals. And then the Patriots are going to get annihilated, basically. Yeah.
Well, the Bills have something to play for in that circumstance, right? Because they get the bye week.
Exactly. Right.
And
they're playing for the bye, for sure.
If they called it like, Bills forfeit or whatever, then obviously the Patriots make the playoffs. But I just don't see that happening. I think the Week 18 games go as scheduled. The Bills will play. They'll probably play for DeMar Hamlin, and they'll be fired up. And Josh Allen will be there. All the guys will be there. It's going to suck. And
we're going to suck.
And I don't think we have enough to really beat the Bills.
Yeah, this could be an absolute blowout. I mean, it really could be. I think it's going to be bad. It could be real bad. It could be real if they play this game normal circumstances. I mean, Matty P could be fired minutes after this game.
He's not going to get fired. He's not going to get fired, dude. He's
reshuffled.
Reshuffled, sure.
The index of coaches. He will have to step down. I'm making a joke. I'm being facetious. But, it's going to be such a bad game that it's like, well, you got to fire him. He can't call offense anymore. He is being demoted. Something's going to change. I mean, it could be that game. It's been trending that way. I mean, imagine if they did win. That would be insane. I don't know how it's possible. What does Allen have to throw, like 3 picks and 4
They're
turnovers?
in Buffalo, too. That crowd's going to be fired up.
Insane. Oh, my God, dude.
The crowd is going to be like we've never seen it before.
Line? Is there a line on it yet?
There can't be a line yet.
Buffalo -7. Surprised it's not -50. 35 degrees, cloudy, nothing crazy. So
Yeah.
See,
regular weather.
I don't like. I think the Bills will win the game, but I'm not like convinced that it's going to be a blowout. I just don't think the Patriots do blowouts. Like we haven't got
Not
really
usually,
blown
unless
out
you're
all
a
year.
nobody team.
Like,
Chicago. We
Blown
got
out.
blown
our,
out by
our defense
Chicago.
is fairly decent. I don't know who's coming back this week for our secondary. I know how banged up it was last week, but
Right, that's a big thing.
Jack Jones
Right,
would be
I mean,
nice. Jalen
Our
Mills
defense
would be nice.
does cause some enough problems where maybe they're not going to score 40 points, but I could see. I mean, I'll give my pick now. I could see them winning 27-10, and it's never really close.
So 2 weeks in a row, you're picking against the Pats. Is that correct?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't pick against them last week.
2 out of the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Because maybe it works for them. I don't know. Maybe that gets some juju in their court because, I can't see us winning. They have so much momentum.
You've become a realist. Thanks. Welcome to this side where we look at things.
Why? How are you picking it?
I think the Bills win. I think it's 20 to 17, 27-17 Bills. But it also depends a lot on like what do they do with that last game? I don't know. But I think it's 27-17 Bills.
Okay.
You
John?
stole my number. Yeah, I think
I did?
33-17. Yeah.
I want to
I think
mention
we scored
last week we were all very close in the scoreline for the Pats.
Really?
That's
I
true.
don't remember.
Yeah.
I think we were all like really close. So let's say the Patriots lose. We all kind of think that. I think we all think the Jaguars probably sneak in.
No, I think Jaguars are divisional.
Who
Jaguars
is the
are
other
Get
team that gets in?
Pittsburgh.
Steelers, Titans, or
I'm convinced that Pittsburgh
Dolphins.
is getting in.
If we blow it, it's Pittsburgh. I think. Dolphins.
I think if
I don't think they
Jacksonville
get in.
wins and we lose and the Pittsburgh wins, I'm pretty sure they're in.
I think the
I
Dolphins.
could see a scenario where the Patriots, Dolphins, and Steelers all lose, and the Patriots still get in.
Nah, Steelers are in.
No, I mean, who are they
my
playing
call.
again this week?
They're playing the Ravens.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. They're playing the Browns. They're playing the Browns.
The Browns.
Who have nothing to
Yeah,
play
who-
for.
So we're all
Except we're in a
seeing
divisional.
the Jaguars are going to get in.
I think the
And I think
Patriots
it's-
get in, whether we win or lose. I think everyone else, we win, somehow win, which is impossible, or more likely, all three teams lose and we still get in, which is even funnier.
Do we have the tiebreaker against the Titans? Because that's what it would come down to in that circumstance, right? Like,
Titans
you're saying
could-
the Jaguars get
I
in.
think we do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Titans
we have
are
a better
out
divisional.
unless they win. They need to
And they're
win.
playing the Jaguars, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think we all think the Jaguars are going to get in. I think the Dolphins are going to beat the Jets. And I think if we lose,
I don't think they get in.
then that
I think we're going to lose, and I think Pittsburgh's going to win.
I think everyone loses
Do they-
and we get in.
let's say the Steelers and the Dolphins win and the Patriots lose.
Steelers,
Who gets
Dolphins,
in?
then it's Dolphins. I think.
So that's what I think. I
so.
think the Jaguars
Yeah.
and the Dolphins get in.
Good for you.
Unfortunately.
All right. Well,
Hate that.
we can rehash this next week and see who was right. But it sounds like it's going to be a pretty epic week 18 here in
I
the
love how
NFL
tight it is.
schedule.
I love how tight it is. It's awesome.
I do.
The seventh seed.
Yeah. You know? It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. It's a lot of fun. But I really, to just cap things off from my perspective, I'm really just hoping that this kid lives and comes out of this, man. That's where I'm at right now.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So thoughts and prayers out to Damar Hamlin and his entire family. And that's all we can offer here from the Patriots podcast. So thank you all for listening, and we will be back next week.
All right, guys. See you.
Adios. All right. Sweet.